you stand at the edge of a decision. It could be something simple, sending that message, making that call, taking that risk, and yet you freeze. Your mind floods with possibilities, each one branching into endless outcomes. What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you make the wrong choice? In that moment, you are at war, not with the world, but with yourself. On one side, the voice of logic urges you to act. On the other, the voice of fear whispers every reason to hesitate. You call it being careful. You tell yourself you're thinking things through. But in reality, you're not preparing. You're delaying. This war is fought in silence, and most never realize they are losing. Not because they make the wrong choices, but because they make none at all. And the cost of hesitation, it's far greater than you think. Think back to all the opportunities you've missed, not because they weren't within reach, but because you hesitated. That conversation you never had, that job you never applied for, that idea you never pursued. Each one was a door waiting to be opened, but instead, you stood there, thinking. Overthinking doesn't just delay action, it kills momentum. And without momentum, you remain stuck in place while the world moves forward without you. It's the cruelest irony. While you analyze every possibility, others, with far less hesitation, are out there taking the very opportunities you let slip. Regret is rarely about the things we did. It's about the things we didn't do, the choices we never made, the paths we never took. And the worst part? You'll never know what could have been, only what wasn't. Because hesitation doesn't just waste time, it wastes life. Most people assume overthinking is a personality trait. But what if I told you? It's a learned habit. Research shows that chronic overthinking actually rewires your brain, strengthening neural pathways that favor hesitation over action. The culprit? A constant battle between your prefrontal cortex, logic and reasoning, and your amygdala, fear and survival. Every time you hesitate, you reinforce a pattern. Your brain starts prioritizing risk avoidance over decision making. The result? Paralysis. And the longer this habit continues, the harder it becomes to break. Overthinking isn't just something you do. It's something you've trained your brain to do. But if it can be trained, it can also be untrained. If you're always overthinking, this is why. We admire deep thinkers, the philosophers, strategists, and visionaries who take time to analyze before they act. But what if I told you that what we often call deep thinking is, in reality, a sophisticated form of procrastination? Overthinking masquerades as intelligence. It feels productive, like you're preparing for every possible outcome. But preparation without action is just hesitation in disguise. You tell yourself you're being cautious, that you need more time, that the right moment will come. But time isn't waiting for you, and neither are your opportunities. The mind has a way of trapping itself in analysis, mistaking constant evaluation for progress. But thinking alone doesn't change reality. Action does. If your thoughts never lead to movement, then you're not thinking deeply. You're just delaying. And delay is the silent killer of potential. There are two types of people in this world, the thinker and the mover. The thinker is trapped in an endless cycle of analysis. They believe that the more they think, the better their choices will be. They fear failure, so they hesitate, believing that certainty is the key to action. But in reality, certainty never comes. The mover, on the other hand, understands that progress comes from movement, not from perfect planning. They accept that mistakes are inevitable, but hesitation is a guaranteed loss. They act, adjust, and refine as they go. Look at history's greatest leaders, innovators, and warriors They weren't the ones who hesitated. They were the ones who moved, despite the risk, despite the uncertainty. The question is, which one are you? The thinker who waits, or the mover who acts? Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." What does that mean? It means that those who hesitate get ruled by those who don't. Power belongs to those who act. Those who hesitate surrender their choices to those who are willing to take risks. If you wait too long, someone else will make the decision for you. Someone else will take the job, close the deal, seize the opportunity. Because while you were thinking, they were moving. Nietzsche believed that power is not given, it is taken. And those who hesitate are simply handing over their power to those bold enough to claim it. So ask yourself, are you leading your life, or is hesitation leading it for you? The longer you wait, the more control you lose. And in the game of life, the only true failure is never stepping onto the field at all. You want to make the perfect choice. The problem: the more you analyze, the harder it becomes to act. This is known as the decision paradox, the idea that the more options we consider, the more overwhelmed we become. Studies show that an overabundance of choices leads to inaction. Why? Because when every decision carries the weight of uncertainty, our brains default to the safest option, doing nothing. But here's the truth: there is no perfect choice. Every path comes with risk. Every action comes with uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The successful ones choose, and they choose fast. The perfect moment will never arrive. The perfect decision doesn't exist. But movement is always an option. And in the end, the only real mistake is making none at all. Overthinking isn't just a bad habit, it's a neurological trap. And once you're caught in it, breaking free feels impossible. Here's why. Your brain operates through two competing systems. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic and decision-making, tries to analyze and predict outcomes. But then there's the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear. When faced with uncertainty, these two systems clash. Your logical brain wants to move forward, but your fear-driven brain tells you to hesitate. And the more you hesitate, the stronger this pattern becomes. Research shows that every time you delay a decision, you reinforce neural pathways that favor hesitation. Over time, your brain learns to associate thinking with safety and action with risk. This is why overthinkers struggle to break the cycle. It's not just mental, it's biological. But if hesitation is a learned response, then action can be learned too. The question is, will you take control, or will your mind keep you trapped? You probably think having more options is a good thing. But what if I told you that too many choices actually make decisions harder? Psychologists call this the choice overload effect, the idea that when we're presented with too many possibilities, we struggle to pick one. Studies show that when people are given a small selection, they decide quickly and feel satisfied. But when faced with an overwhelming number of options, they either freeze or regret their decision later. Why? Because every extra option creates more uncertainty. What if you pick the wrong one? What if there's something better? Your brain spirals into endless evaluation, trying to calculate the perfect choice. But the pursuit of perfection leads to one outcome: paralysis. This is why some of the most successful people simplify their lives. They wear the same clothes, eat the same meals, automate small decisions, because they know that energy wasted on trivial choices steals focus from what truly matters. The truth is, certainty is never found in thinking. It's found in moving forward. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, faced decisions that shaped the fate of an empire. But his approach to decision-making was shockingly simple. Think clearly, act swiftly, accept the result. In Stoic philosophy, hesitation is the enemy of progress. Marcus Aurelius believed that dwelling on choices created unnecessary suffering. He taught that a decision made with clarity, even if imperfect, is always better than endless overanalysis. Why? Because action builds momentum, while hesitation builds fear. When you decide quickly, you reinforce confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes next. But when you delay, you send a message to your brain that the situation is dangerous, and the cycle of overthinking continues. The lesson: make the best choice you can with the information you have, and move forward. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu wrote, "A general who hesitates is already defeated." Why? Because in war and in life, every moment spent overanalyzing is a moment your opponent gains ground. Sun Tzu understood that uncertainty is inevitable. No leader, no warrior, no strategist ever has perfect information. Yet, the ones who act with confidence, even in the face of doubt, are the ones who win. The battlefield of today isn't just war. It's business, relationships, personal growth. And the same rule applies. The world doesn't reward those who wait for the perfect moment. It rewards those who make a move despite uncertainty. The lesson: decisiveness isn't about having all the answers. It's about making a choice and committing to it. Because hesitation is a choice too. And it's always the wrong one. Jeff Bezos, one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, follows a simple rule. If you wait until you're 100% sure, you've waited too long. Bezos calls this the 70% rule. The idea that waiting for full certainty is a guaranteed way to miss opportunities. He believes that the best decisions are made when you have around 70% of the information. Any more, and you're slowing down. Any less, and you're reckless. The key insight: success is not about certainty. It's about adaptability. The ones who act first gain momentum. The ones who hesitate, they get left behind. Every moment you spend overthinking, someone else is out there taking action. Opportunities don't wait. The world moves forward, whether you do or not. And the harsh reality is this: if you don't make a choice, someone else will make it for you. Over time, chronic hesitation leads to a life dictated by external forces. Bosses, governments, competitors, fate itself. When you hesitate, you are not protecting yourself. You are surrendering control. So ask yourself, is overthinking keeping you safe? Or is it keeping you small? Because in the end, the only real failure is not moving at all. You've been told that overthinking is a sign of intelligence, that it means you're careful, rational, and wise. But what if I told you that's a lie? Overthinking is not intelligence. It is fear. Every time you hesitate, your brain is not engaging in deep thought. It is searching for an escape. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of making the wrong choice. And the more you overanalyze, the more you reinforce the belief that action is dangerous. But here's the truth. Success is never built on certainty. It is built on courage. The world's greatest minds, leaders, and innovators did not wait until they had all the answers. They acted, adjusted, and learned. If you're constantly overthinking, ask yourself, am I thinking or am I stalling? Because hesitation does not protect you, it controls you. And if you let fear dictate your choices, you will never be in control of your own life. Overthinking feels productive. You convince yourself that by analyzing every detail, you're preparing for the best possible outcome. But in reality, you're just delaying the inevitable. The difference between deep thinking and overthinking is simple. Deep thinking leads to action. Overthinking leads to paralysis. You sit there running the same scenarios through your mind, hoping that one more round of analysis will give you the perfect answer. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to decide. Why? Because your brain becomes addicted to hesitation. In the end, you don't regret the decisions you made. You regret the ones you never made, the conversations you avoided, the risks you didn't take, the moments you let pass you by. Thinking does not change the world. Only action does. You've been taught to chase perfection, to wait until the timing is right, to plan until there's no risk of failure. But here's the reality. Perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it will keep you stuck forever. The people who succeed aren't the ones who find the perfect moment. They're the ones who create momentum. They make a decision, take a step, and adjust as they go. They don't worry about having all the answers. They focus on movement. And the secret is this: momentum makes fear disappear. The moment you start moving, hesitation loses its grip. Your confidence builds. Your fear shrinks. And suddenly, you realize you were never stuck. You were just standing still. The goal isn't to make the perfect choice. The goal is to make a choice and let action refine it. Throughout history, the greatest warriors, leaders, and visionaries have shared one belief. Action comes before certainty. Julius Caesar, when crossing the Rubicon, didn't wait for absolute assurance of victory. He made the decision and committed. Napoleon, one of history's most decisive strategists, believed that a flawed decision executed immediately is better than a perfect decision delayed. Modern leaders follow the same principle. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos. None of them waited for perfect conditions. They moved first, and they figured it out along the way, because they understood one fundamental truth. Hesitation is the death of opportunity. In war, in business, in life. The ones who win are not always the smartest, the strongest, or the most prepared. They are the ones who dare to act. So the real question is, are you waiting for the perfect plan? Or are you ready to move forward despite the uncertainty? Because in the end, the only real failure is never trying at all. Before you can break free, you have to see the trap. Overthinking feels natural because it disguises itself as preparation. But the truth, it's not making you more prepared. It's keeping you stuck. You replay conversations, second-guess decisions, analyze every possible outcome. But ask yourself, has any of this led to real progress? Or has it only delayed action? Awareness is the first step. The next time you catch yourself spiraling in thought, stop. Recognize that you're not thinking. You're hesitating. And hesitation isn't keeping you safe. It's keeping you small. Your brain has a built-in kill switch for action. It's called hesitation. And the longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to move. Mel Robbins, a renowned speaker, developed the 5-second rule to override this instinct. It's simple. The moment you feel yourself hesitating, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. Why does this work? Because counting down shifts your brain's focus from fear to action. It forces you to move before your mind has time to stop you. Try it. The next time hesitation creeps in, don't think. Count down. Take action. Break the loop. High performers don't wait until they're 100% sure. They know that waiting too long is more dangerous than making an imperfect decision. That's why Jeff Bezos follows the 70% rule. If you have about 70% of the information, it's time to decide. Why? Because the cost of hesitation is higher than the cost of a mistake. You'll never have all the answers, but you don't need to. Action creates clarity, and those who move first, even with incomplete information, always have the advantage. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Decide, adjust, keep moving. Overthinkers obsess over small decisions as if they will define their entire future. But most of them won't even matter. Next time you're stuck, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, stop overthinking, make a choice and move on. If the answer is yes, then act, because delaying won't change the outcome. Regret doesn't come from making the wrong choice. It comes from making no choice at all. The longer you wait, the more opportunities slip away. So make the decision now, before you lose the chance forever. Your brain will take as much time as you give it. If you allow yourself weeks to decide, you'll take weeks. If you give yourself minutes, you'll decide in minutes. That's why setting decision deadlines is powerful. It forces your brain to work within a limit. Next time you're stuck, set a countdown. I have 10 minutes to decide. This does two things. It removes overanalysis and trains you to trust your instincts. Successful people aren't just smarter, they decide faster. The more you practice this, the more confident you'll become. Most people see fear as a warning to stop, but the truth, fear is just an indicator that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And where does growth happen? Outside your comfort zone. Instead of waiting for fear to go away, do this. Reframe it. When fear kicks in, tell yourself, this means I'm growing. This means I'm moving forward. Because those who succeed aren't fearless. They just don't let fear control them. So the next time fear whispers, don't listen. Step forward anyway. Because action isn't the absence of fear. It's moving despite it. Overthinking feels like control. You convince yourself that by thinking through every possibility, you're staying safe. But in reality, you're building your own prison. Indecision is not protection, it's paralysis. Every moment spent hesitating is a moment lost. Every choice delayed is an opportunity given away. And the harshest truth, no one is coming to rescue you. No perfect moment, no absolute certainty, no sudden burst of confidence. The door is open, but only you can walk through it. You have two options. Stay trapped in hesitation, or take control and step into the unknown. You fear making the wrong decision, but ask yourself, what's more dangerous? Making a wrong choice, or making no choice at all? A wrong choice teaches you. It moves you forward. It gives you experience. No choice, it gives you nothing. No lessons, no progress, just more of the same. Look around. How many people are stuck? Not because they failed, but because they never even tried. Fear doesn't stop failure, it guarantees it. So what will you do? Stay where you are, or take the risk? Because in the end, the only real failure is doing nothing at all. Right now, you have a choice. You can close this video, forget everything you've heard, and go back to hesitation. Or you can break the cycle. Think of one decision you've been overthinking, one action you've been delaying. Now, commit. In the comments, write down your decision. Declare what you will do, and then do it. Because knowledge without action is meaningless. The only thing that matters is what you do next. So, are you ready? If you are, prove it. Drop your decision below. Then go. Take action. Move forward. The time is now.